Greetings and love. Greetings and love, Roots Reggae Hub family worldwide. We are live to air here on the Roots Reggae Hub. We have a special guest tonight. I'm going to let him introduce himself because he is a very special guest because Kaya Fest is coming to Toronto, Canada, and the lineup is insane. I'll say that. I'll start saying that. Um, I've been saying that for a little while now, so I'm really super excited for it. Please
Mhm.
introduce yourself to the global audience right now. We're live on radio, and we're also broadcasting across our social networks.
Nice. Yeah, yeah. Big up. I am Hymn Marley, and I'm excited to be here with you. Well, go on. How are you?
Wagwan. And I'll take some questions from the people who are here live because I always want to big up the live audience here.
Mhm.
It's always very special to take some of the live, chat questions coming
Goodness.
up. So if you do
Mhm.
have some questions, drop it in the chat. I will definitely get to the live questions throughout the interview or at the end of the interview. So this is your opportunity to get some questions in. All right. So let me know, how are you? How was it celebrating Rita Marley's birthday? Was it a big like family reunion? How was that? How are you doing
It's
tonight
a
as well?
joy. It was good. I'm well. How are you doing?
Great, great,
How are you
great.
doing?
Yeah.
Nice. Yes, yes, yes. It was a joy. We had a good amount of the family there that was able to make it. So it was really nice having a good number of us together. So we see each other very often. So even when it's like a reunion, it's kind of like, you know, in a way, not because we're together so often.
Yeah.
Um, but it was really nice. It was an amazing time by the water on the beach. So, she enjoyed herself and we did as well. And to good times. Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
good strong to the
Yeah. Yeah.
queen matriarch. Rita Marley. We always post something special for her birthday, and we always with her longevity in life and blessings for the matriarch. So big up to her and big up to all of your family. I was playing your track on the intro here. I absolutely love the track, so I do want to talk about it first and foremost. Tell me about Last Dance. It's such a
Ooh.
beautiful track. What was
Thank
the
you.
inspiration? What was the vision behind the track? Did it come to you like some people like go in the shower and they have like a download and they get an inspiration for a song? Like, what's your creative process behind the track Last Dance?
With Last Dance, it started with I was on the way to a studio session and I was on the phone with my mom and we were basically having a conversation about sometimes the people that we are friends with or we date or our partners, they're a reflection of how we feel inside. They're almost like a manifestation of that. People that don't always have the greatest knowledge of how to love themselves or understanding of how themselves. Sometimes you look at their partners and friends or what's it, there's a saying, tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are. But a lot of times people don't realize that it's across the board. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Um, and it was a larger conversation, but at the forefront of it, that was kind of the thing that stuck with me. Is that sometimes when you leave people, we also leave versions of ourselves, and we have to do a lot. It's almost like doing a dance. And for me, when I got into the studio, I worked with her name is Ida Rose. She's an incredible producer and a writer. So big up to her. And an artist herself too. And someone in Miami, another producer, Renz. But the day that I went into the session with her, we were kind of just having kind of just like what's going on. And I kind of reiterated to her some of the conversation, and the melody kind of started, and it then the words of feel like rocks on my ankles, weight on my shoulders breaking me down, and it just progressed into Last Dance. But funny enough, Last Dance for me also progressed into, for me it initially was about that conversation, but then once I started listening to the track, the demo of the track more and more, and just where I was in life, it became something personal to me where I realized I have to let go different versions of myself that no longer serve me. So it became kind of multi-purposeful in that sense of what originally sparked the idea to what it grew for to me. And the thing about it is that whoever's listening to it is able to apply what they're going through to that. Some people need to leave old versions of themselves. Some people need to leave, a relationship or friendship or just whatever it is. But it is also a song about empowerment, because the beautiful thing is when you come to that place where you realize that this or that is not serving me, there's beauty in that as well. You know what I mean? And that's what it is about. It's not about what's going on. It's about the lesson after the fact, and progressing yourself and being a better human being with however that looks authentically and honestly to you.
Wow.
So
That's
that's Last Dance.
beautiful.
Thank you.
That's so beautiful because so many people go through these transitions in life, like you said, a relationship ending or learning to love themselves. A lot of people do go through that as well. So hearing you describe the vision behind the song, it's truly beautiful. I really love that. Um, yeah. And so what is your, because you describe yourself as a singer, songwriter. Yeah, I know you do
Mhm.
some acting, right? Some modeling
Mhm,
as
mhm.
well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
do you feel like um they're like separate parts of your career or like different expressions of the same creative identity? How do you like manage all of these creative expressions?
Yeah, I think, for me, in a lot of ways, it's not one in the same, but it's the same tree. You know what I mean? Different branches. So
Mm.
where acting is concerned, it allows me to tell. It's all storytelling. You know what I mean? It's about storytelling and being true to the story, whether it be musically, whether it be acting, even with modeling. It's all about what is the story, and those things are what excites me. And being on a stage, being in front of the camera, whether it be then by acting or modeling, it's all kind of relative, because I have to come from a place of, all right, like, let's go, so it's very exciting and thrilling. But music, I get to express my life. Acting, I get to express someone else's story. But I get to bring all of the good, the bad, and the indifferent in all of these things, and it's about expression. You know what I mean? And so through that, I'm able to put my best foot forward in terms of showing up and being present and being fully aware of, okay, this is why it's important, this is why it's needed, this is in terms of the story of whatever, whether it be a song, whether it be a script, or whether it be a campaign or a photo shoot, you know what I mean?
Mm,
And I've been doing this for a long time in terms of just entertaining in general. So it's natural to me, the progression of the three. Yeah, you know,
nice.
yeah,
Oh, you wear many hats, and as an
yes.
artist, a lot of times we do. A lot of times we
So
wear multiple
creative.
hats. Yeah.
Hmm.
So that's a great way to express yourself in these different talents that you're blessed with. And
Hmm.
better for us because we can find you on all these different platforms and areas
Mhm,
doing your
mhm,
thing.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
So you'll be performing at Kaya Fest in
We'll
Toronto
be at Kaya Fest, yes, performing live and direct. Yeah, I'm
on
looking forward
Saturday
to that.
on Saturday, August 22nd at the Markham Fairgrounds. How are you feeling about being a part of this festival? And what are you most looking forward to?
Wow, this festival has been going on for some time, and each time it gets better. And, each time seeing the different acts and just what they bring and just, their energy. It's always a good time. So I know this year will be um just that and more, because Fire Fest since COVID has stopped for a bit, and if I'm not mistaken, this is the first one back since. So it's an exciting time. I'm just looking forward to being on the stage with family and friends, and most of these artists that are up there I've known for quite some time, some years. So like, that is a great reunion, and good vibes and good music, and you know a good that you can't what more can you ask for, so yeah, come on out, Kaya Fest. Yeah,
Yeah, I see people asking where's it being held. Markham Fairgrounds, Toronto. Look at the flyers. I've
come
been posting the
fairgrounds.
flyers. You guys
Yes.
got to check it out. Is it always the same lineup or does it change? Like,
No, it changes. It
changes.
changes. It changes.
Okay, yeah.
It changes. We want to keep things interesting and exciting. So we change. You'll get some of the same acts, sometimes. But a lot of the times it's been each year we want to bring something different, and allow artists new and seasoned and more experienced to come out and just bring their energy and what people love about them, you know what I mean? So that is what we aim to do and achieve, and able to do, and here it is again, another year.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
looking forward to that. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
see some comments coming in. Dejana by Design says she's so excited she's going. She got her ticket a long time. Uh,
Okay, very nice. Very nice. Very nice. I'm
anyone that
excited for you to see it as well. Yeah,
exactly.
very
Anyone that
nice.
hasn't got their ticket yet, I'm like, what are you waiting for? Like, it's right
Yeah.
around the corner. It's a month
Yeah,
away,
yeah,
less
yeah.
than a month.
Yeah.
So what can people expect from your performance at Kaya Fest? Do you want to give it a little anything away, or you want to keep it lock and key?
Just I am very, what can they expect? High energy, and definitely that togetherness, because my aim is to curate vibes that leave you feeling not just the music but the moment. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? That is my always my goal when I'm performing. It's not just, great lyrics or melodies or whatever, but right now in the present, what is happening here. Um, so that when these things happen again, you don't just come back for the music, you come back to be a part of the feeling.
Mm,
So that's definitely what they can expect, to be a part of the moment.
yeah, I love that. I love that. The way you make people
Thank you.
feel is what they remember. People always remember how you make them feel. Always.
Totally. Funny, I've been to some shows where the artist might not sound great, whether it be sound or themselves, but I would definitely go back to the concert because the time, the feeling, and then as I go back and watch them again, it is better, and it's kind of like, okay, great, like, it gets better each time. So that is kind of one of those things where I always remember, like, okay, the feeling is what, you know what I mean, this moment is what is lasting, no matter what happens, and all the stuff in the background, or going on. It's about being present, and fully immersing myself the in what is happening, and with the crowd, and curating a memorable experience.
All right, we have another question coming in the chat from Joy. Big up yourself, Joy.
Yeah, Joy.
She is asking, "What Marley family member are you the son of?" Well, I know the answer of that, but she doesn't know. Tell her,
Okay, my father is Stephen.
Stephen
Stephen
Marley.
Marley. Yes, yes, yes. That's my father.
I see a lot of comments. Where is it being held? It's at Markham Fairgrounds for people who are just coming in. So, um, I wanted to ask, if have you been to Toronto before, or is this your first time?
Yeah, yeah. I was actually just there. I think, when was I in Toronto? Maybe 3 weeks ago now. I
Three
was over
weeks.
there. Yeah, a few weeks ago I was over there actually. Um, it's always a good time in Toronto. You guys have such a great community for reggae and Jamaicans, and allowing us to feel like it's an extension of, what I mean. The place just
Extension of
feel
Jamaica.
like,
We're like,
do you know what I mean? In that sense of just community,
Mhm,
and togetherness with other Jamaicans. So
mhm.
it's nice. Yeah, Toronto's a good time.
And when you first began making music, what did you imagine your sound would become? Because it's definitely evolved since your EP. So, how has your musical vision transformed or changed? And how what can we look forward to this evolution? Would it be continuing? How do you feel you're headed? What direction are you headed in musically?
I don't go in there with a preconceived notion. How my process generally works, it's not something where, like, necessarily wait until I'm in the studio with the other musicians, and everyone to start. Sometimes it's melodies that started before. Sometimes it could be melodies that start before. Sometimes it's something that we created in the moment. So I don't really have. I'm not one of those people that necessarily think of, like, okay, what sound am I gonna do next? It varies, really, what how I feel the day of the session. Just like with doing Last Dance, for an example, on the way to the studio, I didn't really have something in mind of, like, okay, I want to do this or that. I'm led by I am led by my emotions in terms of what is influencing me that day. And then, we come in and we chip out it's like a big rock piece, and little by little you kind of etch out. And then when you're done, the masterpiece is there. So that's kind of my process. It's
Mm,
not necessarily planned
right.
in that sense. Hmm.
I love that. I really, really love that. I usually ask people like, what comes first for them, the rhythm or the lyrics? Like, does the instrumental get inspiration for you, or do
Hmm.
sometimes you come up with like you don't have something planned, but in the studio you'll think of lyrics? Does it one become before the other or no?
Honestly, it really depends, because I could be hearing something, it can be something as simple as a bird chirp, and then you kind of, a melody with, like random things, sometimes strange things, in the sense of, like, it can be something where, like, you hear water drops, and then that's added in the beat, or sometimes it can be the melody that I have first. Like, my song "Since You've Been Gone" was written before the beat was there.
Mm,
Um, but funny enough, Since You've Been Gone was more inspired by country music. I one of the things that I actually admire about country music is the way that they tell a story. I don't know if you have much background in even hearing it, but country artists tell a story so incredibly vivid. You know what I mean in that
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
And it's something that when I really got to understand that, okay, this genre is kind of like that, it so when you hear Since You've Been Gone, for example, and the slider and the essence is what I call it, the essence of the things that inspire me are very prevalent in my music, in the arrangement, in the sonics, and you can kind of have an idea of like, okay, like this, okay, I hear that, sometimes some people will say like, oh, I hear like with my song Hot Step. Someone the other day was telling me that they thought it was kind of like Afrobeat style, and I don't hear it, but they that person heard it.
Mm.
Um, but it's cool because nothing is withheld in terms of what influences me. You hear it all, Let It
Right.
Burn. It's different than You Don't Even Love Me. That's different than Hot Step, because that is, I like to show people the progression of I grew up between Jamaica and Miami. So for me, I'm not just influenced by Caribbean sounds and sonics. I'm also influenced by that of the what them call mainstream music in that sense.
Mm.
Um, and so I like to add all of the things that make me as an artist. You know what I mean?
I love that.
So
I love that you're definitely sticking, being true to yourself and having inspiration. I love country music for that exact same reason too. Like, especially the heartbreak
incredible
songs.
writers,
It's like you feel like
incredible
you're going
writers.
through you're going through the relationship with them because they do a lot of heartbreak songs, like relationship heartbreak songs, and it's like
Tell me
you feel
about
like
it.
yeah.
And funny enough, the other day, even growing up in Jamaica, we have a lot of big back in like the 90s and before, we there a lot of country music got big here, you
Mm.
know. The melodies in my head, but I can't remember the words to the it's not Leon Rhymes. Who sings the song? It's gonna come to me at some point in the interview, but when it does, I will circle back the song that there's a few songs here that got you can take away everything, including my life, and tell me why. How do I
Oh,
live with? You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of songs that were here that even before going to the States I was exposed to. And so anyway, so all of those things influence my sound in some way, shape, or form.
mm-hmm. Love
Yeah.
that. So influenced by different genres for real. Um, what do you want people to personally feel when they listen to your new track?
It's like I said, I don't want people to feel like they're reading my journal. I want them to feel like they're reading like ours or theirs. So,
Mhm.
I want them to feel like someone that gets it, someone that has been there. We all know what it feels like to be happy, sad, mad, da 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 da. The emotions are the same, but the characters' names are different. So I really want to be able to be one of those writers that are able to tell our story and
Mm.
have people feel like, wow, it's like, some songs I listen to and I'm like, wow, like I could have damn near wrote this
Yeah.
in terms of it being a similar situation that I have gone through. And
Yeah.
that is what I want people to feel and take away is that like, oh shit, and that is like Last Dance. We've all known what it's like to, when people say like, oh, I outgrew my friend or I outgrew the relationship or I outgrew a lot of times even like yourself, and that song is an ode to that growing, and when people hear that, I would like for them to almost feel their growth in that. You know what I mean? So that's that's always my goal, is to be able to write music that connects and write music that's authentic. And I can only do that when I pull from real life experiences and real life moments. So, that's my what I have my sights on when I'm in the studio, is like, okay, how do I make this about us? Because I don't sing about what happened. I sing about the lesson of what
Mm.
happened. If you know what I mean, that's my focus on the song. But I have to tell you the story and why the lesson matters. And in order for me to do that, I have to allow myself to be vulnerable. And then with that honest vulnerability, I aim for people to feel that as well and know, like, okay, this is a safe space. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that. We have a couple nice comments. CanSmith16 says, "Can't wait to see you perform again. Looking forward to your
Thank you.
performance."
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Likewise.
Pick up yourself, Can Smith.
Uh,
And we have another. Tucker Lives says, "That's why he's dope. He appreciates and studies all music." Mm.
thank you, Tucker. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you.
Those
Thank
are,
you.
those are nice.
Yeah, man. Looking forward to it.
What's
Yeah.
the best advice that you think you've recently received?
What is the best advice I think I have recently received? Ooh, that's a good one. I think one of the advice that I received that relates to me now is that one thing I'm learning is that it's okay to sit in discomfort. And someone said to me, if you can't sit in discomfort, you're probably doing life to please others, And it really hit home for me because I understood it on the sense of I understood it on the sense of, even going, for example, even going back to like Last Dance, that not being able to sit in discomfort allows us sometimes to be in the wrong relationship, wrong friendship, the wrong thing, because we're not comfortable doing what we need for ourselves.
Mm,
So that was something that I took with me now, that when things happen, and like I'm more empowered to be like, no, 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 now that no has become one of my best friends, because I think I try to just make one of the things I try to do is just make everybody feel comfortable and make everybody feel, and that's the goal. But sometimes some people don't deserve that extended kindness or that grace or whatever, and then kind of feeling like, like, if it's awkward it's on me. But you know what, if it's awkward it's on us. How about that? And
mm,
be allowing myself to be uncomfortable with a simple no extra explanation. So that was something that I'm moving with now. And
mm.
yeah, and it's liberating. What I mean? It's very liberating.
I love that. And what are you no longer willing to compromise in life?
My happiness, my joy, my authenticity, my I'm no longer allowing myself to compromise. It's kind of like, it's either you are going to be comfortable or me. You know what I mean? And I think that I'm no longer compromising that middle ground of allowing somebody else to be comfortable in spaces that I'm in. That I guess in that sense, I'm allowed myself to be comfortable taking up more space. You know what
Mm,
I mean? Unapologetically. And that going back to what I said about liberating. It's very liberating, you know. And I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying that, and I'm also empowering others to do the same. You know,
Yeah.
it's like
The
clearing out some of that
vulnerability.
baggage.
Yeah. Sorry to cut you. The
No, no,
vulnerability in the
no.
song is very evident.
Thank you.
Um, and just it's just so beautiful. I was listening to it over and over and over.
Thank you,
I
thank you,
was
thank you,
just
thank
like
you,
I
thank you.
was getting my feelings. I was
Oh,
like,
nice. Yeah, yeah. That's what it's about, you know. So at least listen, if I can reach two people rather and not even the masses, then that's what matters. So if that is was your experience with it, then I believe I have done my job. You know what I mean? I believe I have accomplished what I set out to accomplish. And so that's very heartwarming and I appreciate that. Thank you.
you're
Yeah.
welcome. You're welcome. Wow. Everybody who's tuned in here on the radio, I want to take a moment to say bless up yourself. Thank you. I
Yeah, big
see
up.
a lot of people tuned in from around the world, which I always love to see the way the map lights up on my screen. It just fills my heart. But I want to big up all the Roots Reggae Up Massive tuned in on the radio. If you're on the
Yeah.
radio and you want to watch us live, you can join us on Instagram. This is really an Instagram live show, but we've expanded. We're broadcasting across all social media platforms now. That's Facebook, Twitch,
Yeah.
and YouTube as well. Like it's everywhere. So TikTok as well. So
Join
no
in.
matter what platform you love, you can
Yeah, my
also
sister,
watch the interview
yeah.
as well
Yeah.
as listen to the interview. But I want to shout out to the radio listeners because they're awesome. I really
Yeah.
appreciate everybody. So tell me about how fashion allows you to express yourself as well, because that's another form of expression. And uh,
Absolutely.
yeah, like what is your current vibe when it comes to fashion? Because I don't know much about fashion. I don't really know. I'm like a thrift shopper. I'm like I don't,
Listen,
so
that
tell
that
me.
makes two of us. That makes two of
Yeah,
us. I
great.
do enjoy thrifting. It's one of the things that I enjoy doing. But yeah, for me, fashion has been something that I was exposed to very young. And then I
Yeah.
learned the difference between being fashionable and being stylish. And, you can wear something nice, but that might not be your style. You know what I mean? And then as I got older, I ended up realizing that what you wear is also an expression of who you are. You see people that enjoy dressing up, and those people are sometimes people that are also the people that wake up early and do gym and da 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 and da, so it's very personal and unique to each individual. For me, I don't necessarily have a style. I've been influenced by so many stylish people that
Mm,
it's a blend of that, um right now I'm really really into that 70s era, that kind of like rock feel, like back when so I'm along those lines right now of that time frame. Why? I don't know. It just things were kind of more laid back and not necessarily so overdone. It was just simple, like simple flare jeans, shirt, and you know what I mean. And at that time too, it was people were more free to be who express who they were personality wise in terms of what was going on back in the 70s and 80s. So I'm embodying that freedom through my style choices, and we'll see how it progresses as I progress as an artist and as a human being. So next year or 5 months from now, I'll probably be, who knows what will inspire my style then. But I'm someone who dresses by my mood.
mm,
um, so if you see me in like something sporty, that day is probably like a on the go day. Something more chill. My mood is probably like relax. You know what I mean? So my mood dictates what I wear. My kind of that that is kind of base that base is what I put on for the day, or night or whatever.
I love that.
So, well,
Go by
my
your
style is
mood.
more free, eclectic is what I would call it. Like my music. Also,
Hmm.
that's how I describe it.
Love that.
Mhm.
And I wanted to ask about your acting. So, what kind of role would challenge or excite you as an actor?
Ooh, you know what? There's a few things. I definitely. So I just got with an agent a couple months ago and really now getting in that gear of okay, like let me, start. So I'm excited for that. That came up the other day. I really want, I mean, I am all encompassing. I wish I had something more in terms of concrete of just like, oh, I want to do drama or more comedy but I think I don't limit myself because I am all of those things at different times,
Mm,
but more, I think more of the maybe, more I don't really have a preference. I think all of them, all of the genres are something that I'm looking forward to diving into and kind of just immersive. It's really about the story and it's really about the character and how I relate to them. You know what I mean? So it can be something from like Spider-Man to something like, a documentary style thing. It doesn't have a limit. Um because I myself am limitless. So I'm looking forward to being in all everything. You know what I
mm,
mean? And allowing myself to grow and find my footing as an actor and as someone that is not telling the story but living in a story. You know what I mean?
mm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
looking forward to that.
We have a couple questions that popped up in the chat. I would love to see you
Uh-huh.
on Spider-Man, by the way. That would be sick.
I
Like
listen,
anything
that make two.
Marvel,
That make two of us. Okay, that make two of us. You and I. You and
anything
I.
Marvel, I would love to
I'll
see
have you
you.
talk to my agent. I'll
Yeah.
be
Let me
connect with
put a
them.
let me put a word in with your
A word
agent.
in. Yes, please do. Please do.
We have one question asking, does your family have a philosophy that keeps you all grounded to be productive and successful in the industry? That's a good question. Do you guys have a
You know
family philosophy?
what? It's not that it's a philosophy, it's an example. It's more of an example than a philosophy. I think the example is work hard and do what you love because obviously when you love what you do, you progress in that. You know what I mean? I'm fortunate to be born in a place and space where the people I'm around are doing what they love to do and are good at what they love to do because they love to do it. So it's not a philosophy, it's just the examples, and then it's something that ends up being passed down because whether I would have been a doctor or an attorney or a musician or actor or whatever, I want to keep I do it because I love it, not because I on the contrary, even like with music, no one pushed us to do it. No one pushed me to do it. No one was like, hey, you have to be a musician or this or that. That was the opposite. I kind of had to decide what I want to do with life and then work at it and then kind of present like, hey, this is what I have going on. I would love, the support and, kind of the, 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 the foundation that
Mm,
that can help me to progress what I'm doing and the guidance more than anything as well. Um so yeah, yeah, that's what I would say. It's not an exact, it's more just by way of examples that
mm.
that drive me.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, you have a lot of great examples in your life. Like you said, people that love what they do. The worst thing ever is when people are doing things that they don't love and they're not truly passionate about. And some people have to, because they have to pay the bills,
Totally.
especially in this, day and age. But to
Totally.
just take that leap of faith and to follow your vision, and your creative passions. It's so much more fulfilling, so I'm glad you're able to do that, and you have examples of that to guide you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And and the best part, I would say, one of the best parts is that I'm able to do it with my family. And
Mm,
that is what makes me fortunate because I don't know many people that have that ability. So, being able to do what we love together is more meaningful than, more meaningful than I can tell you. You know what I mean? It's more
yeah.
meaningful than I can put in words.
Hmm. Who's your number one favorite collaborator that you've ever collaborated with artistically?
Right now, you know what? Until the other songs come out, there's a few, but right now, it's definitely my brother Johan on our song "You Don't Even Love Me" because the song is so personal to me that his feature on it gave it exactly what it needed. And I write from experience is not always mine. A lot of my music is based on experiences from others in terms of being one with understanding and being human and connecting with people when you talk about it and just having that kindred understanding of experiences. So, he came on and did a feature on that, and that's still one of my favorite songs of mine to this day. Even especially performing live, that's one of the songs that I admire. I look forward to performing.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's your EP. That's from your EP, right? Yeah,
in my head.
in
Yeah.
my head. Yeah.
Mhm.
Everybody who's tuned in on the radio is in for a treat because I'm going to be featuring that song specifically and some of your other songs following
Ah,
our
nice.
interview tonight.
W.
For those that
Okay.
weren't here at the intro, they didn't hear Last Dance. So I'm definitely going to play that again. And also some of the other tracks I chose off your EP. Beautiful collection of work, beautiful
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
EP.
you.
So I definitely want the radio family to hear the select songs for tonight. And I see some more questions popping in. So you got to keep it locked here on the radio for that after this interview. Can Smith says, "What's your favorite memory as a child with your brothers and sister?"
My favorite memory as a child with my siblings. God, there's so many. I think one would be actually being here at the Bob Marley Museum. Actually, this is of I don't know if you can see, but over there on those steps, right there, is
Hmm.
where my musical journey started. We would be here. My brothers Johan, Joseph, and I would be there when my our dad and uncles and aunts were rehearsing for um the Ziggy and the melody makers at the time, and we'd be here till God knows what time as kids. And but the other musicians would come out and we'd kind of just start singing together and learn, getting it with harmonies and da 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 and writing and things of that nature. So um that's a fond memory. That's a fond memory for me.
I love
My
that.
my beginnings into who I am now. And then we started a band a little bit after that called the Rebels. And then as we got older, we realized, okay, we have our sonics kind of have evolved into a bit different sonics. And then now we are, Joe Mercer has his stuff, Johan has his stuff, I have mine, and we're able to support each other together. And but yeah, those beginnings, those beginning of who we became or becoming and became and all of those things. Those are my fond memories. Simpler
Mhm.
times.
Yeah, sounds great. I love the museum. I went there, and it's so great, the history and
Thank
being
you.
able to, have something that's in a museum form. That's such an amazing idea. The
Yeah,
studio's
yeah.
intact. You can take a tour. You're not allowed to take videos or photos or anything, which is, which
Mhm,
is should be
mhm,
like that. Beautiful records on the walls. It's just beautiful to see.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's beautiful to
Yeah,
see.
no, it's a good time here, and I recommend people coming here for a piece of history and a
Yes.
piece of inspiration because you get both when here at the Bob Marley Museum. So yes, thank you for that.
Okay,
Yes, it, it,
I
it
hope
I have
you
the same experience as you. So that's great.
I know I
That's
saw
great.
Aisha Speed went there too. Aisha Speed was there
He
with the
did. He was here. Yeah, yeah. He was here with the fam. He was here. So that
yeah.
was that was that was interesting. I don't know if I knew of him until like his tour in the Caribbean. So that was
Really?
really cool. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was really cool. To see and know that other people in all over the world are still listening to and love the message that my grandparents have laid out, and the bands and everybody that has been a part of that generation of music. Yeah.
Outside of your music and entertainment and work, is what brings you the most peace?
Oh, what brings me the most peace? If you know personally, if you know me, I'm very, 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 I'm a very big advocate for mental health.
Mm.
And I dive into that with strangers, with friends, families, with loved ones, and just, and helping people to find their why is something that brings me peace. I don't really know how to put it in words, but having conversations with people about their dreams, struggles, joy, sadness, it brings me peace because I feel like as human beings we are connecting. You know what I mean? And it and those conversations to me become so real and authentic because I don't feel like people have that anymore. People are so consumed with social media and just like just things that it's like this. I say this in all my interviews. A long time ago, someone in an interview had asked me, your grandfather's message is one love, what is yours? And I was saying to them that mine is about you can't save the world if you can't save yourself. You know what I mean? And helping people that want to do better for themselves and want to grow is something that I really dive into, you know. And it brings me joy, it brings me peace, it brings me a sense of mind because when you see someone elevate and grow, and I love being a part of that. You know what I mean? I love, even if it's a 2-minute conversation in a hallway or at a bar or just at home, those things. I remember things like that, and I leave feeling accomplished, even if I didn't make any life changing thing. It just that the present and in the moment, it brings
Mm,
me peace. So things like that bring me joy.
I love
Yeah.
that. Oh.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're a place of peace for people, like, and in real life conversations and connecting with people, and it's so important. You cannot connect with people through a screen. You just can't.
No.
I
No.
mean, not as efficiently. I feel like we're connecting tonight, but we're having a conversation. We're
Mm,
going back
mm,
and forth. But when you're watching things and watching stories and liking posts and stuff like that. That's not as much of a connection as having a real
Mm-mm.
conversation and
No,
getting
no,
deep with people,
no.
and expressing yourselves in a way where you can touch on mental health and what that looks
Right,
like, um,
right,
for each
right,
other and support each other
right.
through that. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
I don't, off of the top of my head, I can't think of many artists that have that in the forefront of not their music, but just as them as people. So, my aim is to be one of those, like one of those artists that you think of when you think of things of that nature, like progressing and, healing. I want to be a part of a healing of
Mm,
generations, healing of, and but all of that starts with me first,
yeah.
you know. And once and I'm on that journey, and so a lot of my writing, going back to even in my writing, a lot of those things, and I kind of said earlier, it is about not what happened, but the lesson that was learned from it. Because then this is my way of saying, this is my way of now saying, like, hey, we have this, we have this kind of mutual experience,
Mm,
and that is my goal, that's my aim, to continue to put out music that speaks on my growth, because then we can talk about each other's growth that way. But I don't want to be one of those people that give advice and not have gone through it, or even get advice from someone that doesn't hasn't gone through it or doesn't understand. Because sometimes you're not really here to understand, you're here to kind of just sound right, you know what I mean?
mm.
And um my goal is to musically, through acting, through modeling, through being a human being, is to be able to help as many people as I can.
I love that. That's
Thank you.
awesome. So glad
Thank you.
we've
Thank you. Thank you.
connected.
Thank
I'm
you.
so
Thank
excited
you.
to see you at Kaya Fest.
Likewise.
Gia saying she loves "You Don't Even Love Me" and "Not Today." I'm
Thank you,
seeing
Fitria.
some tracks, some of your tracks popping in the chat. Yeah, people are loving it. Lots
Thank you.
of
Thank you.
comments saying they love that. Love that. Is there a hymn you personify and why? I don't know what that means. Is there a hymn you personify and why?
Is there a hymn I personify? Is
Yeah.
there a hymn I personify, and why? Maybe, is, is there a hymn I personify? Maybe they mean is there a hymn I personify? They'd have to kind of elaborate on on
That's
on
what I'm
on
wondering.
that, so that I can answer it in the clearest way. But is there a hymn
Yeah.
I personify? The only him I personify is to be me, is to be myself. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
the
hope
I
that answers
am
the question.
yourself. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah. Um,
Awesome.
yeah.
So I'm gonna play some of your music shortly after this. I want to thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you
I
for
have a
having me.
few rapid fire questions before I let you go. Rapid
Mhm.
fire questions are I'll give you two different options, and then you just quickly decide which one seems more right for you. The I am.
Okay, cool.
All right,
Um,
and don't think about it too much. Just the first thing that comes to mind, you just say it.
yeah, all right, cool.
All right, studio or stage?
Stage.
Writing in the morning or writing at night?
Morning.
Acoustic or full band?
Equal, but full band. I could do an acoustic with a full band. So full band.
Sneakers or dress shoes?
Dress shoes.
Okay. A song you have never skipped?
Last dance.
Yes.
Last dance. Last dance. Yeah.
And finish the sentence. Music gives me
Life
life. Thank you,
gives
him.
me
Thank you
life. Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank
I
you.
really
Thank you.
enjoyed
Thank
this
you.
conversation.
Same
I wish
here.
I was in
Likewise.
Jamaica having it with you.
Listen, I will hold you to that for next trip.
Yes, yes,
I will
definitely.
hold you to that for next trip.
Let everybody know where they can find you here in Toronto on August 22nd.
Kaya Fest. You don't know.
Kaya
August
Fest.
22nd. Yeah. Kaya Fest. Yeah.
See everybody
Yeah.
there. Thank you so much. And
Thank
I
you.
hope
Thank
you
you.
all have a great night. I'm Shana McCalla
Yes.
signing
Bless.
out live on the social networks, but I'm going to be still here on the radio with the radio listeners following this interview. Thank you. Have a
Thank
great
you.
night.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. You too. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Bless.